abstract. Most people don't put much effort into the title and into the keywords and even into the abstract. And that's actually a big mistake, because often these are the only pieces of the paper that other people are going to read. You can ask yourself, when was the last time you read all the way through an academic paper? Not that often. Most people only read the title and the abstract. And search engine optimized keywords are crucial. Search engines use them to find your work. Other workers use keywords to find other papers in your research field. So use different words to the title. Key insight. Search engines use the title, they use the keywords. So if you duplicate words between the title and the keywords, you're losing discoverability. So make sure you get your keywords right. Don't be too general. We get lots of papers to edit that use words like earth, sky, wind, air, water. These are too general as keywords. There's great resources available online to help you effectively choose your keywords. Keep your title short and simple. In English, short and simple is best. Keep it short. Studies have actually shown, by the way, one of them was done by a Brazilian medical researcher. One of them was, he downloaded many articles from PubMed and he looked at their citation rates, and he was actually able to show that studies with shorter titles are likely to be more highly cited. So actually less than 7 words is what you want to have with your title to increase its chances of being highly cited. The other trick that you can use is a colon, a punctuation mark in the title, as you can see here in these examples. Interesting titles, people want to read them. These were highly cited papers from 2019. The information in the title is broken up by a colon, something specific, something general, something general, something specific. This is also a trick that you can use in your own academic writing. And here are some examples from recent highly cited Bentham Science articles. For example, titles that work, titles that work, titles that are short, titles that are well chosen for effect. Tip number 2 for boosting your citations: get the same name on all your papers. We've talked about this already, but you do need an ORCID ID. You do need to be unique. You do need to be consistent on your articles. So I do encourage you to sign up for one of these ORCID researcher IDs. You'll often need this, in fact, for the submission system at many international journals. I've written papers using various variants of my name: Gareth Dyke, Gareth J. Dyke, G. Dyke, GJ Dyke, over the course of my career. But because I have an ORCID identification number, they all get linked back to me. And so my citation rate, my citation searches are not confused by the use of different names. Disseminate and promote your research. We've talked about this in our webinar already. Remember that it's a journey. You're not just talking about your research once it gets published. Think about a research journey, learn skills to talk about your research and develop engagement. And so I hope that some of the insights, some of the ideas that I've talked about today will help you with that the next time you have to do this. And we've seen this slide already, but I show it to you again because the way that you write and the way that you communicate your message to journals, to editors, and to the public can have a big impact on how much people engage with your work. Sell yourself. Come up with interesting ideas, interesting ways that your research can relate to the lives of ordinary people. I give you an example. My father, he's an atmospheric chemist, and he spent most of his life publishing articles about reactions in the atmosphere. Nobody cared. He didn't get many citations. He didn't get much engagement with his work. Now, of course, with global climate change and the climate crisis, because he's an expert on atmospheric chemistry, he gets lots of interest in his research. He gets lots of engagement with his research, but he never thought in his career about this connection between his research and this topic of critical public interest. So have a think. How does your research engage with people? And do think about your impact as a journey. Cite your previously published papers. Tip number 4, make sure you get your previously published work into your new papers. Don't go overboard, because over citation of your own work can be an issue for editors. Don't recycle submissions, and show that your previous work forms a pattern. This is how you become a leader in your field. Develop a reputation, get those review articles written, and gradually build up your impact as you build that research program. People ask you, what is it that you're working on? You have to have a coherent, single answer to that question that you can go to people and you can say, my research aims to solve this particular key question. Publish in journals read by other workers in your field. This is reach. We talked about this already, and this is why journal selection can be so important to impact. Ensuring your audience is engaged. Know about the key journals in your field to maximize your readership. Don't publish your work in journals that nobody else in your research field ever reads. Try to publish in open access journals if you can. This is important because most academic authors actually support open access because it gives their work much more reach to readers. Open research, open data is what people tend to support in our field, in academic research. But people always ask, they say, well, what about the cost? What about the impact factor? And these, of course, are key issues. You often have to pay an article processing charge to get your work published in some open access journals. And it's also often the case that the open access journals don't have such high impact factors overall. You know this, open access literature is digital, online, free of charge, free of most copyright and licensing restrictions, but your work is covered by copyright. Your work is still covered by copyright law, Creative Commons copyright, so you can publish in open access journals, and it often happens, for your information, in one of two ways. Gold open access, like many of the Bentham Science journals, these are fully open access journals, or green open access hybrid journals that have been publishing for years, often in a traditional way, but also allow authors the option to pay that article processing charge to get their work published free for anyone to access. Number 7, write review papers. Getting yourself set up to write review papers is a key career step. People often ask, how can I write a review paper? They think it's the same as writing a literature review. It's not. It's totally different. You need to get a journal interested in a review paper before you submit. So write to editors beforehand, right? Get editors interested in review papers about interesting, unsolved, debated questions in your area, and structure your articles around debated issues or questions. People love to cite review papers. People love to cite review papers. It saves them time. So if you can get a few of your own papers into journals as review articles, that's going to help to drive up your citation rate. My PhD advisor used to say you write 5 research papers and then you write a review paper. That was his rule of thumb, and certainly they help to drive up citations. What about submitting your work to special issues? Often we have the opportunity to do this. Watch out for predatory journals that are writing to everybody, telling you about special issues all the time, but you can engage with conferences, with senior colleagues, talk about key questions to journals, propose review articles, special issues to journals, of course, and talk to editors. One of the big things that authors don't do, we find, around the world is actually talk to editors, write emails to editors. If you have an idea for a review paper or for a special issue, get in touch with an editor at the journals that you regularly publish in, that your colleagues are regularly using. And again, special issues on particular topics are highly cited because we don't have to do that much work. We can just go to these one-stop shop articles and cite them in our own work. Number 9, be collaborative. Work with others. Of course, you can't be productive if you just work on your own. Collaborations are key to a successful career. More publications, more opportunities. And this is how you build a personal network, by the way, as well. Enhance your impact, internationalize your research, and successfully identify peer reviewers for your articles who you can suggest to journals when you make submissions, people who are going to give you a positive comment, positive feedback on your next article.